Today I am going to discuss another chapter for ages second year students, and that is about environment and natural resources. This is a lengthy chapter, but from this chapter generally short question generally they asked in the examination. So first of all, why in political science we have included the chapter of environment? Because environmental concerns in geopolitics, that means in global politics or in global politics, number of environmental problems have arisen from time to time in this earth, and people are facing various problems because of environmental degradation, and that is why most of the states are nowadays starting about discussing, about meeting, about summit regarding the protection of environment. So what are those issues or problems which actually create concern for the leaders of the nations regarding environment? First of all, there is shortage of cultivable land. That means population is increases day by day, and cultivable land are decreasing day by day, and that is why problems of food is there. Then fisheries are over harvested, number of fisheries are decreasing, but along with that we need fisheries for fish and all these things are better. These are over harvested. Then overgrazing of field, for which fertility of the field also lost. Then pollution of water bodies, that is also another problem. Then according to 2006 UNDP report, 2.6 million people, especially of underdeveloped country, they have no proper sanitation, no proper safe drinking water, etc., for which number of children died everywhere in those countries. Okay, then deforestation is another problem. Because of deforestation also many problem we are facing, flood, drought, everything. Then ozone layer endangers, that is also another problem. Then the coastal then the global coastal areas. Actually what happened, the coastal areas are still remain more or less pure, but people started living at the side of the coastal area, and if the population increases in those areas, then ultimately what will happen, coastal area will also become polluted. So all these problems are there. So whole world is actually thinking of how to get rid of this problem and how to make our environment pollution free, pure, etc., etc. And that is why number of summit nowadays took place in the world. Here I have mentioned the important summit, that one is known as Earth Summit. Question may be there, where the Earth Summit took place. It took place at Rio de Janeiro at Brazil in June 1992, and it was a very important summit or very important conference where they have adopted Agenda 21, AGENDA. Agenda 21 means here they have adopted certain principles for sustainable development. So you will also have to know about what is sustainable development. Sustainable development means you should have to develop for the present generation, but while developing your own countries, while you are developing industries, trade, communications, etc., you never forget about your future generations. So by exhausting the nature, you should not do anything, because in that case your future generation will face the problems. So sustainable development means how much is needed, you go for that, but exhaustion of nature, if you exhausted the nature, that will create problem for the future generation. Then there is anything, the protection of global commons. What is global commons? Some of the areas are there which are not within the boundary of a particular nations. These are actually used by all the nations throughout the world. So these are known as global commons, and it is very much necessary to protect that global commons, which are commonly used by all the people throughout the world. For example, earth atmosphere, it is a global common property. Then ocean floor, then outer space, etc. These are not a personal property of a particular country. these are actually enjoyed by all the countries throughout the world, and so it is our responsibility also to protect those global commons. Then another concept is there, common but differentiated responsibility. What is the meaning of common but differentiated responsibility? This concept actually developed in Kyoto Protocol. Okay, it is another important summit where in the Kyoto Protocol they have asked the developed countries to actually they should have to try to decrease their wait they will have to try to decrease their pollution system as far as possible. Then the common but differentiate responsibility, you will have to know a little bit about that. That means all the countries are equally responsible for the protection of the common property, global property. But there are two types of countries. Some countries are known as countries of north, and some countries are known as countries of south. So those countries which belong to north, they are developed countries, and those countries which belong to south, they are underdeveloped countries. So developed country already they have developed industrially, agriculturally, they have used their communication system, and in that process they have actually polluted the nature very much. So the underdeveloped countries or the countries of the south, they are saying that okay, the developed countries, they are mainly responsible for this what I can say, that for this pollution and for this degradation and for this environmental degradation, etc. So they will have to take more responsibility than us. That means they now have to stop all their activities, and they must give us the chance that we must have to continue with our industrial development, etc., because we are still lagging behind. So our responsibility will be less, their responsibility will be more, because they are mainly responsible for this environmental pollution, environmental degradation, etc. So that is known as common but differentiated responsibility. Properties are common, but responsibility should not be same, because those who are the main culprit, they should have to take more responsibility to protect the environment, and those who are lagging behind in case of industrial development, technological development, they must have to get the chance to carry on that process, otherwise they cannot move forward. So that is why. Then India's stand on environmental issues. If you study that, you study it little bit, and you will find in the book that so far as India is concerned, India also supported the principle of common but differentiated responsibility. That means more responsibility should have to be taken by the powerful countries and less by the underdeveloped countries. And India also participated in almost all the summits regarding environment, and they have wholeheartedly support the issues which are necessary for safeguarding our environment, safeguarding our common properties, etc. Then resources geopolitics. Resources geopolitics means who gets what, when, where, and how the people get. So mainly the developed countries, they have actually taken away the resources from underdeveloped country, mainly the resources, especially the well, etc. So they are mainly very much worried about, or they are very much interested to use the resources, and sometimes clashes are there among the countries regarding the issue of these resources. Sometime what I can say, that even war may take place regarding this geopolitics issue, as for example regarding the control of control of powerful countries regarding oil resources, etc. So these things are there. So in a nutshell, you just studies about why the environmental concerns are there, why the countries are very much worried about environment, what are the issues that was related with it, and you have to study about number of, especially about Earth Summit and about that Kyoto Protocol. Then you will have to know about the protection of global commons, or what is global commons. Then responsibility, common but differentiated responsibility. Then India's stance on environmental issues, etc. So try to remember these things. And generally short questions come from there. So here you study about Antarctica also. Short note maybe there about Antarctica. It is also a global common. So you study about Antarctica also, and I think that will be sufficient for you from this chapter. So thank you. Tomorrow I will upload another video for you.